Do you foresee any economic ties or risks, rather, for South Africa if it's excluded from these early G20 discussions?
Yes, I think there would be some economic risks. Um, in the short term, the risks are mostly in the message that this exclusion would send to potential investors, because it sends a message that the relationship between South Africa and the US is continuing to deteriorate further. So uh, that sends a wrong message to investors, and that's where the risk in the short term would come in. In the longer term, I think the risks is not just for South Africa, but for Africa in general, because these earlier meetings that um, the United States has to convene will help shape the agenda for the rest of the US presidency of the G20. And if you're not included in these meetings, if you're not at the table, you'll not be able to help shape this agenda or to push the interests that you have. In this case, the South African interest as well as the interests of South Africa as a continent.
As you
So
mentioned, the short
let's
term
remember
and
that.
long term
uh,
effects and how our trade relationships will be affected, can we even call this a US South Africa tension? Because it seems the US is the one with the problem and South Africa doesn't. Can we call it tension?
yeah, we can call it tension, but like you rightly put it, it is essentially the US making accusations and using those false accusations as the basis for hostilities, for pushing further hostilities with South Africa. But it still has implications for South Africa and for the US. But for South Africa being the smaller economy, it doesn't matter who is right and who is wrong. It's going to affect the economy and affect the ordinary yeah, human beings.
These persecution claims, in terms of how they can test investor confidence in South Africa's economy, will it result, as you see it, in relationships being strained forever?
Uh, I think the claim itself that there's a persecution of based on race, or that there's white genocide in South Africa, I think the claim itself does not really dent investor confidence, because investors are very smart people. They do their due diligence before they invest in any country, and it wouldn't take much research for them to understand that these are false claims, that their investments will be safe, that their investments would not be at risk just because they're of a certain race. It would not take much for them to understand that South Africa is a safe place to come and invest. But again, where these claims can cause damage is on the confidence that South Africa and the United States will be able to come to some ceasing of the hostilities, and will be able to come to some major deals. I mean, some trade deals that has been eluding the two countries since President Trump started with hostilities.
Dr. Matola, we'll leave it there for now. Thank you so much for your valuable insights.